Hey guys, welcome back to Moe's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Vultures Lead the Way, Battles of the 324th Vulture Regiment. This is a game designed by Herman Luttman and published by White Dog Games. If you're a fan of In Magnificent Style or Crowbar, or both, you're going to definitely dig this game. It's using the same system, but now he's changed things up to where he's not using dice anymore. He's added card play into the mix, so that changes things up. Plus, you get a couple of different locations here, both a Mars and a Moon location that you'll be fighting on as the alien Firmicians are trying to take out Earth. So let's take a look at the back of the box and see what this game's all about. The flashes of light from the explosions on Mars could be seen clearly in the night sky. Terror reigned on Earth as it became obvious that the solar system was under attack by an alien menace. If the general populace knew the true nature of the threat, their fears would have become almost incapacitating. Mars was under assault from alien beings who apparently have existed in the universe for trillions of years and have evolved over that period to become technologically superior to humans, as well as every other life form in the galaxy. This alien race had become known as the Firmicians, named after the astronomer Enrico Fermi, an author of the Fermi paradox. And that's because these beings were essentially the answer to the paradox. They brazenly demonstrated that the reason we have been unaware of other alien species for so long is simply because the Firmicians have been exterminating them. And next on their hit list is humanity and its entire solar system. Their initial target was the newly populated planet of Mars, but there are also rumors that a secondary alien invasion fleet has been secretly deployed to seize a celestial body much nearer and dearer to the Earthlings, the Moon. The only force capable of dealing with this threat is the famed 324th Vulture Regiment, an elite fighting formation that was created just for this kind of mission. With the support of the star cruiser Skybreach, the Vultures have been sent to Mars and to the Moon to stop the Firmicians from destroying these critically important places with their doomsday devices. Can you put an end to this threat, Commander? It's up to you. Vultures Lead the Way is an exciting solitaire game in which you, as the commander of the 324th Vulture Regiment, must lead your troops across the map board, defeat defending alien forces, and stop the countdown that has been set in motion. If the doomsday device goes off, Mars and its colony settlements, or the Moon and its research stations, will be destroyed. Good luck and Godspeed. We have the components listed as two 17 by 22 inch maps, 71 inch counters, 108 5/8 inch counters, 27 action cards, a player aid, and a rulebook. Game features unique push-your-luck core game mechanics that challenge you to balance risk and reward, multiple modes of play, solitaire, 2-player, and 3-player cooperative and semi-cooperative, 3 scenarios each with 3 difficulty level options, easy, standard, and brutal, random alien deployments, variable map terrain features, 4 types of Vulture units, each with different abilities, 9 types of alien units, each with unique characteristics. Players can organize Vulture companies as they wish with each game. Random events create multiple gameplay opportunities and challenges. Variable fire and close combat resolution systems, and carefully researched and highly realistic simulation of the tactics used against the Firmicians. You gotta love Herm's style. He's just always got a little bit of humor tied into his descriptions and his games. It's for 1 to 3 players, 1 to 2 hours, age is 10 plus, solitaire suitability is 10, and the complexity is listed as 4. So let's take a look inside and see what we get. All right, we get our deck of cards, our rule book, the player aid card, our 1-inch counters, and our 5/8 inch counters, and our 2 maps. So let's set up the maps and take a closer look at the game. And here's a look at the Mars map that comes with the game. We'll also be taking a look at the Moon map next. If you've played Crowbar or In Magnificent Style, like I said before, you're going to be very familiar with the layout as well as most of the gameplay in this. It's going to be pretty much the same. There's been some changes with the card play, like I said, versus dice, things like that. But also at the top, you have this doomsday device track. You've got to get up there before that thing goes all the way down to the bottom because that's when the planet is destroyed. So you want to make sure you don't allow that to happen, because the big boom is not going to be like the big bang that started everything. The big boom will finish everything. So you want to avoid that. At the bottom, you have the game turn track as well as the countdown. On the right-hand side, you have your regimental deploy zone, the green, yellow, and the red areas. Remember, you have those different locations that are going to bring in different effects to you as you advance across the map. Then you have the Doomsday Device Zone at the top right, as well as the Alien Defense Enclosure Zone, which is this big wall here that you've got to breach to get inside to the Doomsday Device Zone. And the moon map follows the same layout as the Mars map, just obviously different types of terrain that you're going to have on the moon versus Mars. Next, we'll take a look at the player aid that comes with the game. We have the sequence of play listed out, movement steps, as well as the activation steps. On the back, we have the fire combat steps, the close combat steps, the company commander abilities, as well as the Volter Ho options. Next, we'll take a look at a few examples of the action cards in the game. Remember, I said we're not going to be using dice. Here, we're going to be using action cards. When you draw the card, you're going to be looking at the top three areas here. Scout, Ranger, Heavy Weapons, for example, on the first two cards. That's going to tell you what that unit is going to do. So when you draw a card and you have, say, a Ranger unit, you're going to move one, or you're going to panic, depending on the card you draw. At the bottom, you have the events. So that way, if it tells you to draw a Volter event, you would look at this area of the card. If it's a Formation event, then you look at this area of the card here. Then you have this card over on the right-hand side, which says move one plus hit for all Scout, Ranger, and Heavy Weapons. And then you have your standard event at the bottom of that card. Next, we'll take a look at the counter sheets that come with the game. First up is the 1-inch counters, and these are going to be both the Volter units as well as the Formicians. You'll notice you've got Scouts, Rangers, and then Heavy Weapons on both sides. That's because Volter units are 4-step units, so you're going to have your first ones here and then your second set of counters there to represent all 4 steps. The Formicians are 2-step units, so they're just going to flip over as they degrade. We've got Formician clusters, Pulsar Berserkers, Mushroom Domes, Condors, Groundhogs, Chaos Mercs, Colossus Mercs, and Termite Mercs. So nice little callbacks here to the previous games that both Herman and his buddy Fred have done. You've got Chaos from Invaders from Dimension X, Colossus Mercs from Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi, and then the Termite Mercs, which is a callback to Space Vermin. I love how Herm always throws in some Easter eggs and some humor, whether it be to previous games or other bits of trivia, to add some more levity and fun to his games. On the second sheet, we have the 5/8-inch counters, which are going to give support weapons as well as other administrative counters for use in the game. Next, we'll take a look at the rules that come with the game. This is a 20-page full-color rulebook. Starts off on the front with the explanation of the map. It's going to break down all the zones, which we already talked about when we looked at the map. Then we're going to get into the Volter units as well as the alien unit counters. Then we have the miscellaneous and administrative counters explained to you. Then we get into the action cards here on page 5, which we've also looked at. And then the sequence of play itself starts on page 6. Explains to you how to set up. Then you get your Doomsday phase, Warlord Chaos Patrol phase, Formation Retaliation phase, which I jumped over. The Commander Assignment phase, Choose Active Company phase, and the Unit Activation phase. All the steps explained to you. Then you have an important note here. So you have call outs in different colors and boxes, so that way you don't overlook it. Then you have your Activate Next Unit, Activate Last Unit, Activation Descriptions. Unit movement, you see again a lot of these call outs, so that way you don't overlook important steps or important information or examples. Chasm space, alien occupied space, Martian canals, lunar seas, Doomsday Device Zone space. Then we get into fire combat on page 11, all the steps for that. Formation units firing. Then we get into close combat occurrence, opposing units, close combat net strength points, close combat resolution, and aftermath. Then we have the close combat versus a sentry, and then the end phase on page 15. Company commander abilities are explained to you here on page 16. Then we get to the victory score on page 17. So basically 16 pages of rules, and I think it was the first few pages were all just breaking down all the components and explaining to you before you actually get into the sequence of play. So about 13 pages of rules, 12, 13 pages of rules, and the rest is going to be support text. your victory score, like I said. Then we have the general setup on page 17. Then the different scenarios that you have, as well as the notes for player modes. And then we have the designer's notes on page 19. And then on the back of the rules, we have the permission event descriptions and the Volter event descriptions. And that is a look at everything you get inside of Volters Lead the Way, Battles of the 324th Volter Regiment. This is a game designed by Herman Lettman and published by White Dog Games. If you are a fan of Herm's other games in this series, In Magnificent Style or Crowbar, you're definitely going to want to check this one out. This is the next evolution in the series itself. It started off back with Victory Point games with the old In Magnificent Style. It was then upgraded and updated with the latest version from Worthington, and then we have Crowbar from Flying Pig Games. So each one kind of changes some things up as it goes along, as the system evolves. And it's really cool to see Herm stick with this system and kind of fine-tune it and add new things along the way, change some of the nuance in the game and not just reskin it and punch it out, you know, a different game with a different title. This is actually a unique game each time. And I'm really looking forward to checking this out because everything I saw about it really just excited me. You've got not just that push your luck style that we had from In Magnificent Style and Crowbar, but now it's in a sci-fi environment, so he's a lot more freedom to do whatever he wants with it. We've got cards to change things up, so it's going to be a lot of fun checking this out. Plus, you've got the clock here, the Doomsday Device track that you got to worry about. You don't want to let that blow up because then Mars and the moon are gone and pretty much as curtains for humanity. So I like that whole sci-fi vibe. I love the whole you need to save the universe vibe. Everything about it really is pretty cool. Plus, you've got these awesome counters and awesome maps from Blue Panther, who always do a great job for White Dog Games. And I'm really looking forward to getting this one on the table and trying my best to save humanity, although I know we're pretty much doomed because you're going to lose this game more often than you're going to win it. But that's the charm, that's the appeal, that's the fun. You have to keep coming back and trying to win the game. And it's the type of game that you just want to play just one more time every time you set it up and play. So this is available now from White Dog Games. So if you want to get a copy, head over there and order a copy now. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you've been curious about this one. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.